Well, hello everybody. My name is Paul Hirons, and welcome to our first ever live stream. Now, we are Bengals UK. We are an unofficial fan group here in the UK, as you might have guessed. And excitingly, we're broadcasting on Twitter, on YouTube, and Facebook. And there's a lot to be excited about, isn't there? Because the season is, 7 days away. And we thought we'd add a bit of video content throughout the season. So we're going to be doing this kind of thing every week, which more news of that later. But to begin with, we thought we would have a little bit of a trial run to see how it goes and to test the water, really, if you like it all, what you want to see, all that kind of stuff. But today is a quick half-an-hour show, just to say hello, really, and also, more importantly, to premiere our fan video for 2020. And it's something that we've, again, done a little bit more of over the years, produced more video content. And this year, of course, it's kind of quite exciting, isn't it? Because we've got the #1 draft pick. We've got all these amazing free agents. We've got all sorts going on. So we thought now is the time to become a Bengal. And what better time to become a Bengal? What better time to join in this amazing fan community that we've got? And it's a community that it's our mission to grow and to unite as well. We normally put on meetups. We do lots of online stuff like watch parties, online tailgates. So, yeah, we're going to be premiering a brand new fan video for 2020. So that's coming up a little bit later. We'll be talking predictions a little bit later on as well. But first, let me introduce the guys with me today. You can see Kevin Angel. Hello, Kev.
Morning, afternoon. Hi.
And Tom McDowell. How are you doing, Tom?
Good day, guys. How are you?
Tom should win for like best set. Tom, we should have discussed this. You've got like a full on. I've got football. That's the best I can do.
And the rest of the garage is a tip, but the bit you can see, I've tied it up.
How many autographs have you got there, Tom?
But good question. Probably between 50 and 100 different players. It's at least 50.
I think you are safely Mr. Memorabilia when it comes to Bengals fans in the UK. So it's good to see the inside of your garage. You've often spoken about it, so I'm glad that there's no little rubbish bag full of chopped up bodies or anything like that. Although there might be, who knows?
Yeah, it's hidden. It's in the freezer.
Well, as I say, we're broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter. So do leave a comment. We were going to open it up to loads of people today, but we're probably going to do that next week. As I say, we just want to see how this goes and whether we're pressing the right buttons and whether we're not talking too much nonsense. We can obviously, you can obviously hear me every week on our Cincinnati podcast, and we do have another episode tomorrow. I can tell you now that Jeff Hobson is the guest in our special season preview episode. But right now, I want to talk about what it means to become a Bengals fan. One of the questions that a lot of people ask us, sometimes with a really weird kind of face, is why did you become a Bengals fan? Why did you do that? So with the season coming up and promoting our fan video, I want to talk about why you guys became a Bengals fan and what it means to you to become or to be a Bengals fan. So drop us a comment and tell us what it means to you to be a Bengals fan. Kev, you're the man with the buttons. What we've got coming in at the moment?
So we've got my friend Ben has said, "Yay, Kevin." I've got to read that out. We've got Jamie saying he enjoyed 2/3 of your facial hair, and Tom needs to grow a handlebar moustache. Duncan wants to know if we're getting a glimpse into your sewing room, and Jess says hi. So all really relevant stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone. Jess, hello, welcome along. Nice to see you there amongst the comments, Jim, as well. Duncan Price, who actually, in last week's episode of the podcast, we've been playing a general knowledge quiz called First and 10, and Duncan is now currently tied for the lead on the leaderboard. So that's very exciting for everyone involved. So yeah, it's what about the sewing room? Well, the sewing room is downstairs, or was downstairs, but then it was moved, and now it's kind of full of stuff. So since lockdown, because Nathan's not been coming along to the house, obviously, there's we've been doing a lot of stuff via Zoom and Skype and all the rest of it. But so the sewing room is kind of off limits at the moment, but hopefully we're going to get to do something together soon to be reunited. A couple of people are saying they haven't got any sound. Are we broadcasting? How's everyone doing for sound out there? Oh, so
we have sound.
Nathan James says I look like Gio. I'll take that as a compliment.
Same height.
Yeah, same height, definitely. Yeah, and thickness. That sounds weird. Right. Yes. I'm interested for you, Kev. How did you become a Bengals fan, and kind of what the community has been kind of growing pretty rapidly throughout the last 3-4 years. Just to let you guys know, we started this fan group in 2014. We had our first meetup in the winter of 2015. So we will be celebrating 5 years of our first meetup. And this year, which is kind of cool. We've got a few things planned for that. And then 2016 came when the Bengals came over to London, which was a pretty incredible experience. And then, of course, we started the podcast, and the Bengals came over again last year. So it's been growing and growing and growing, and we are keen to obviously keep it going. Kev, how do you become a Bengals fan, and what does it kind of mean to you?
So I'm sure everyone else's story will be much more interesting than mine. So I think I was getting into the NFL like 4 years ago. It's probably longer. I'm terrible at times. But I was looking for a team and just really liked, it's really cliched. I just really liked the helmet at first. It's never a sentence I want to say again. But yeah, then I think it was a great team at that time. I can't remember who was in it, but it was the year where I think it might have been the year where we blew it in the playoffs against the Steelers, which no one likes to talk about. I think it was when Burfict got really sassy and started. I think it was that year, maybe the season before. And then I just started finding the community, and we've got the best community in the UK. I can say that, it's fine. I'm not you, Paul. But like the response and how warm people are has just been brilliant. Like I've been lucky enough to come along to some of the meetups and really get involved. I wouldn't pick another team.
And you've already gone there. You mentioned the game that should never, ever be named at all, and you've gone there straight away. Tom, what about you? You've got this incredible array of memorabilia there. What's going on there? When did you become a Bengals fan, and what does it mean to you to be a Bengals fan?
It was probably back around 2004, 2005. Me and my housemates at uni, we were getting into the sport, and we all started choosing our different teams for different reasons. And I liked the fact that the Bengals had been bad for so long, but were on the way up, and that was a real turning point around that time when we had the Chad Johnsons, the TJ Hushmanzadas. I mean, especially Chad, he just draws you in, and you just fell in love with the antics, and I've been a fan ever since.
And Kev, we've got a lot of comments coming in telling us how they're become a Bengals.
Yeah, so we've got Brian says, "Funny, remember the excitement of the 80s, survived the woes of the 90s, stayed out of Marvin's doghouse in between, and now fully bought into the Borough era," which I love. Then Mozza92 has said, "They reminded me of Stoke. Both were on the up at the time. Undervalued history, awful in the 90s. Love that." Michael Smith has put, "Well, my football team, soccer team, is Liverpool, who generally win consistently. When I got into the NFL, I didn't want to be a glory hunter, so the Bengals it was." Like that. Jamie Rowe, "So I was a lot better than Stuart Rowe at Madden 2000, so played the Bengals to give him a chance. However, Blake and Pickens and Dylan made life hard for him." I'll pick another one because we've got loads. We'll go for Pete Dunn. "Started watching the NFL due to fantasy football. Bengals did a few trick plays that caught my attention and watched them play the Ravens and found myself wanting to beat them badly." There's loads. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Absolutely. What about the community? Because I do think it does punch above its weight, and we personally like to shout a lot, and we do all this kind of crazy stuff. You know, we brewed our own beer, etc. We like a stunt or two. We did the world's first online tailgate last year, which is amazing. What does it mean? What does the community mean to you guys?
Tom?
I mean, personally, I think we're a very unified community. I hear of like other fan groups that my friends are fans of different teams, and they say they've all got different factions, all sort of different parts of the country and stuff, and they do things, but it's all sort of diluted down. Whereas what I like about Bengals UK is we're all sort of one unit, and we do a lot of stuff together. We're all very vocal. And when we do have these meetups and games at Wembley and stuff, we meet people for what is effectively the first time in the Admiralty, but it feels like you've known them for a good year or so because we all chat so much on Twitter and communicate that way.
What about you, Kev?
I think also, just to add to that, which I'm sure Tom will agree with, is the fact that the US fans are very inclusive as well. They want to get involved. I know some people have said that, you know, we've got a better and more supportive community perhaps than, or a community that they'd like to have. Yeah, absolutely. If we look at the beer thing, that's brilliant. The meetups, everyone's so chatty. It feels like it's nice to have something common straight away as soon as you meet someone. And just anyone that's been to the weekend of a game in London, especially when the Bengals are here, will know, like, everyone's your best mate. Everyone's your best mate.
Apart from Nathan Palmer, of course, who just asked if I'm going to be opening an OnlyFans account, asking for a friend. Well, tell your friend it's going to be premium subscription stuff only, Nathan. £300 a minute, and I'm not quite sure what that will get you. But anyway, we've been talking about the community, and that's really big for me, and that's why I do this. And Kevin, Tom are right. You know, when we do meet up, it's absolute mayhem, and I'm sure it's like that for a lot of other NFL fan groups. But we're really big on community. That's what the sport is. The sport, and teams and players come and go, but the community is still there, and that's really, really important. Which is why we asked a bunch of people to contribute to our fan video, and again. We did this. We're going to be dropping it all over the place. We want new fans. We want to attract new people. We're not a membership group by any stretch of the imagination. We're more of an umbrella, so people can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and now YouTube, listen to the podcast. And it's just all a way just to kind of unite people together. So we made this fan video because we really do think it is a great time to become a Bengal. We were terrible last year, obviously. No one needs to be reminded of that, even though I just did. But this year is looking great. You know, who knows what it's going to be like? Who knows what the whole season is going to be like? But certainly the addition of Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and our young linebackers and DJ Reader and all these guys, we could have a pretty good team this year. So it is an exciting time to become a Bengal. So this is our fan video for 2020. Enjoy.
Become a Bengal.
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 Become a Bengal. Now is the time.
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 The time is now.
Well, there we go. I don't know where Kev's gone, but in all the excitement, he's disappeared. So, but there we go. Did you like that? Did you like that, Tom? And Tom's frozen as well. Very good. So it's just me, basically, isn't it? I hope you enjoyed that very much. Bengals captain says he's off to clear. Well, I don't know where Tom has warned us that he's got very patchy Wi-Fi. Kev's back. Scott Gibbs says he's pumped. Bengals captain speculated, Kev, that you went off to clean yourself up after that. Bengals Jim says nicely done. Houday in the UK. Oh yes. And so we hope you like that. Please share it when we put it on our social feeds. Probably tomorrow, I think. Thank you to everyone that contributed. Yeah, it does give you boost gumps, like I'm saying, goosebumps, because it does get you pumped up for the season, doesn't it? And I think just knowing that that people are out there like you, because I said, you know, say to a lot of American people, supporting an American football team. Scott Gibb just said, I also pumped with excitement. That's probably too much information, Scott, but there we go. Pleased that you were able to pump yourself with excitement. Pump outwards, I don't know. Yeah, it's whenever anybody asks us what it's like to watch American football in this country, it is quite a solitary experience, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, 100%. Well, actually, no, we've got a few people that I think I manage to meet people a couple of times a year. But luckily, my wife watches it as well, so it's not that solitary. Not that solitary.
Okay. Well, you know, here's two solitary pursuits for the rest of the season, but it can be a solitary experience, which is why it's great to see that people like you exist all over the country, and we are an inclusive bunch. So, you know, whatever your color, your creed, your sexual orientation, you're absolutely more than welcome in this group. Now let's bring in another guest. It's a familiar face. It's Pete Dadswell. Peter.
Good day.
Good day to you. How are you doing?
Oh, not bad, not bad. How are you all?
Yeah, going well. Can't believe that it's only this time next week. We will be about half time. In the first game of the season, which is again an insane thing to even contemplate, really. Or it was about 2 months ago, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just exciting now. You can almost taste it. 7 days away. We've been having this countdown on Twitter with every day different player wearing the shirt that bears a number of days to go, and it's almost the excitement running up to Christmas. There's 17 sleeps to Christmas, there's 16 sleeps to Christmas, and really excited, looking forward to it.
Okay, well, we've done the fan video premiere. Did you see that? Did you like it? What did you think?
Yeah, great stuff. Really gets the juices flowing, so to speak.
Well, good. I don't know what to say to that, but yeah, that's fine. So Dad is with the Steve Mariucci War Room background, says Nathan Palmer. And yes, Jess did. It's a 4 p.m. game next week. So actually, we'll probably be just kind of priming ourselves to go, really. Everything I say is basically sexually innuendo now, isn't it? Let's face it. Might as well just write that off. Dastardly Duncan says it's gone up a notch now. Dad is on. Fuck you, Duncan. But yeah, welcome to everyone.
Paul,
yeah.
as we're all inclusive, whilst I've been waiting to come on, can I just say that the Cincinnati Reds have just taken a 2-0 lead because I'm watching the game at the same time. So I know there are plenty of Bengals fans, Bengals captain alike, are Reds fans as well. So we're 2-0 up against Pittsburgh. Okay, well that's always a good thing, isn't it? Didn't they beat the Pirates last night as well, or the night before, or something? Yes, yeah, we did. We played them. This is, I think, it's the 4th game, and we beat them last night. Finally, Suarez came to the party and hit 3 home runs in 1 game. So it's good stuff. Well, this is an American football podcast. Do you want to talk about the shocking loss? Say that again, Kev.
Do you want to talk about the shocking loss, Stadders? Should we go down that route?
No, what was the score? We want to keep this nice and positive. Right, okay. As I say, it's only 7 days to go. We will have our season prediction deeper dive tomorrow on Cincinnati, where Jeff Hobson is the guest. And Nathan will be back on the mic. I know you can hardly contain yourselves for that. But yeah, bring me what you want. You're obviously excited. I can see you're excited. Again, sounds weird. But it's difficult to, I think it's a really difficult season to predict, just because of everything that's gone on. Every team's in the same boat. We haven't seen anything from anyone in terms of pre-season games. Teams haven't had that usual bedding in period. It's a difficult season to predict, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I mean, the first few games each season are often very, very difficult to predict, and people take a few games to settle down. But I think it's increasingly the case this year. You've had no preseason games. You've got some rookie coaches. You've got lots of rookies coming in with no preseason games to bed in. I think it's going to be very, very unpredictable. And a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't help when you've got a rookie quarterback. Well, there's no film on him in terms of in a Bengals shirt. And I think that if he can be kept upright by this O-line, then we've got a very good chance of shocking a few people very early, because we've got weapons on that offense. And I think if people sleep on that defense, then they're going to be in for a shock, because we've really, especially up front, we've really got players who can make a difference. Still unsure about the secondary, but I think that the Bengals should have some unhealthy confidence going into the season. How long that will last remains to be seen. But I think at a time when teams are all struggling to bed down and find their form, we could get off to a nice, quick start. Well, let's hope so. I mean, it is a winnable game next week against the Chargers, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't like offensive line against Bosa and Ingram, to be honest with you, but that's just one facet of the game. And they're not great against the run, or at least traditionally. They've not been great against the run. So who knows? Maybe Mixer can take a bit of pressure off Joe Boy and,
What I would say though is, with an O-line which is a bit susceptible, you're worried if Dalton's behind there. But when you've got Burrow, who likes to come off script, likes to step out of the pocket and make things happen, then a somewhat suspect O-line isn't quite as worrying.
Tom's back. Hello, Tom.
Hey. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, well, people were speculating that you had to go and clean yourself up after seeing yourself on the video, but I didn't want to speculate. I didn't want to go down that puerile road.
No, they were right.
Oh, okay, fair Kev, what we got in terms of comments? I've just been reading through them.
Just got a lot of Pittsburgh abuse. We've got, everyone has it rough. The current team is the smartest in memory. Teams with knuckleheads are in trouble. That's from Brian Creamer. Duncan wants a new segment called Paul's Innuendo Corner.
Could have.
The Bengals captain said, got a game plan away from him. It's up to Zach and Burrow going ahead of the rookie curve. And Jess points out, we almost beat LA Chargers 2 years ago.
Yeah, and do you remember that? Because Marvin became defensive coordinator. He decided to get rid of Terrell and kind of do it all himself. And it was a much improved performance against the Chargers. We should have probably won that game, but Chargers were quite a good team back then.
I know one talks.
You don't
that
think
doesn't work if no one talks.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor doesn't exactly scare you, does he, as an opening day quarterback? And I don't know. I'm a little bit uneasy being so positive and confident ahead of week one. It just doesn't sit right as a Bengals fan. But I find myself, it's the optimism and the positivity that Joe Boy's brought to us, I think.
Absolutely. Now, listen, we do have another little video to show you. It's from our friend Stuart Baird up in Banbury in Oxfordshire. So let me get rid of all of us lot and I'll just show you the video.
Yo guys, and who day? It's me, Stuart Baird, also known as Memphis Soul Stew on Twitter, renowned for not wearing a lot of clothes and having a good old-fashioned 80s old-school carpet. I'm not home today, so sadly, no carpet and plenty of clothes you'll be pleased to see. Really excited for the season. One I'm looking forward to most is the Joes, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. However, I don't think all the pieces are just there yet, so sadly I'm going to be a little bit negative and go for a 7 and 9, but I still think it's going to be one hell of a season. Hooday!
Well, there we go. Stuart with clothes on. That's quite, I think that's quite an achievement, actually. And also, for Stuart, that is. And also the fact that he's not round, he's not in his own house. So I'm intrigued. Is he with his paramour? Maybe he's round his parents? I don't know. I'm intrigued to know what Stu's up to. Not that intrigued, because there's probably some sort of sordid story behind it. So, yes. There's Stuart, and he was quite positive, and I think there's quite a lot of cautious optimism knocking about, wouldn't you say, Tom?
Yeah, I think so, and I think despite having Joe Burrow and all these new pieces, there is a lot of optimism. But at the same time, people are reining it in, and generally people are sort of predicting the sort of 7-8 win season, and they're not going overboard, because I think it's very much, when Zach took over, it wasn't going to change in one season. It's going to take a couple. I think because all the coaches came to the party so late last season, they didn't really get an off season to evaluate as such. And whereas this year they can start bringing in guys that they want to fit their scheme and system, and they can all work together. And then hopefully maybe next year or so we'll have a bit of experience behind us and the players that we want.
Absolutely. Stuart has just come on to the comments. Work digs, nothing more exciting. Oh, that's a shame, Stu. I thought you were. Well, I'm not quite sure what you were doing, but thank you for the video message, Pete. You know, do you think this? I mean, Bengals captain has just said when the Bengals win the Super Bowl, we'll have a 1,000-person joint Zoom call, all sans clothing. So, and I've just been compared to Tosh Lyons from the Bill, which I think British fans will know that. American fans will not. Thank you, Simon Hunter. Pete, do you think the optimism is warranted?
Yeah. No two ways about it. Yes, it is warranted. We shouldn't go overboard. History shows that. But I like what the organization are doing. I like what they did in the draft. I like the positivity they're trying to bring. They looked for players with character, captains of their teams, and I think that the what they're building there is very positive moving forward. I loved the fact that every draft pick has made it to the 53-man roster for the first time since 2016. They know who they want. They've gone and got them, and they've kept them. And I think these are all positive signs. Now, of course, it's got to translate on the pitch, and that doesn't come straight away. I think it could. I mean, to me, this is year one of the rebuild. Last year, I want to forget about, but year one of the rebuild this year, and I would expect to see us really kick on in years 2, 3, and 4. We're right to be positive. If we can't be positive at this time, when can we?
No, absolutely. Well, there we go. I think now we're drawing to a close of our first ever live stream. Still sounds weird to say that, but thank you for everyone, to everyone for joining us. Now we will be back. In fact, I think for those who've joined us late and haven't seen the video, let's replay our fan video for 2020.
Become a Bengal.
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 Become a Bengal. Now is the time.
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 The time is now.
Well, there we go. That's for those who haven't seen it and those who would like to see it again. And would like to see it. Say that again, Kev. You were cutting out there, mate.
I didn't speak.
Oh, there you go. That'll be why then. Well, we will be back every week doing this sort of thing. You can't stop us now. The genie is out of the bottle. Pandora's box has been opened because we are, as you know, we started the online tailgates last year, and we're going to be doing them again this year, but on here. But we still want your pictures of what you're eating, what you're drinking, you know, your predictions, what you're wearing, how you're preparing for the game. We want to hear from you. So do send us your pictures on Twitter and Facebook, and we'll get them onto here. Any videos that you may have, we've got a few little features to add. So it'll be an hour-long show. And next week, because the game starts at 9 p.m. in the UK, we'll be starting at about 7:30 next week, I think. But that's to be confirmed. But we will be doing this every week. So, and we will be sending the link out to all and sundry. So we're hoping for a cast of, if not thousands, at least 3 people to come on to the show each week. So thank you very much for joining us, Kev. It's a farewell from him.
Goodbye.
And Tom McDowell, farewell from Tom.
Good day, guys.
And a farewell from Pete.
Good day.
And all being well, we will. Well, I'll start that again. We shall see you next week. I did so well, and then I fucked it up right at the end. But yes, thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. And a who day.